Welcome back to Gear and Guitars with Mel. As usual, I'm Mel. So today, we're doing something a little different. We're going to have a little conversation. I want to talk about clones, specifically pedal clones. There's a lot of love and hate on the internet about the pedal clones, and I understand both sides of the argument. You don't necessarily want to just rip somebody off, right? You don't want somebody just to be like, hey, this is a great design that you have. I'm just going to copy it, copy your marketing materials and all that stuff, and make money that maybe you could have made. I get that. I understand how that's trash. But I don't think I feel as strongly as most. For instance, what you just heard is a clone that I asked for from Igor over at Stonegate Effects up in Canada. I wanted a Klone, but I wanted a Klone that was put together with a little bit of love. You know what I mean? A Klone that was put together in such a way that the parts mattered, that the whole idea of it mattered, because what you get, and you know, this happens a lot. You find things like this here, okay? Klone in a box, right? It's a clone, like every other clone. You can tell as soon as you see that layout, you know it's a clone. This one, I think it uses different transistors. I honestly don't remember where I got this one. It's good. Sounds pretty good. I like it. Definitely sounds like the Silver Centaur more than the gold. Okay. We also have these. You've seen these all over the place. Alibaba, DHgate, eBay, I don't know, probably Amazon, I don't know. But they're everywhere. Not too bad. Also trying to go for that more silver Klone sound. And then you got the old standby that everybody's either bought, built, or traded or something because they wanted something that was Klone-like, and it gets there. It does get there. I will say that my Uniklone from Stonegate is the best clone that I've had. Now, I know a lot of cats, you know, it's all right. It's the Klone. We know Bill, you know, gooped it up. It's been out there. People have been making copies of those for a long time. But then we run into clones like these. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. So this is a King of Klone from 68 Pedals. As you can see, they made no bones about completely ripping off Analog Man's vibe and all that. Now, the reason that I got this wasn't because of my love of clones. The reason that I got this is because I read a bunch of things that said this was pretty close. And I have been on the Analog Man waiting list for 4 years. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to spend the money. I'm going to get the real deal. So I shouldn't feel too bad about buying a knockoff just so I have something like that. The problem with that is that, I mean, look at it. You know, now let's say I'm using this. I'm playing a gig. I'm on a tour. And people see this on my board. And they're like, oh, he's got a King of Tone. Right? But it shits out. Or something goes wrong at one of the channels, something happens. And then they're like, oh, is that what happens when you get a King of Tone? You don't want that. You know, this is, you know, built over in the Far East. I will say it sounds good. It works. But I tend to just use it at home because if I want a gig, I got a hookup, right? So you go up at Stonegate Effects, will do something like this for me. Now this is also a clone of the King of Tone. Okay. The only difference is instead of the dip switches and the exterior switches, he has all the different modes on a little selector for me on both sides. This is a beast. This is an incredible pedal. It is not going to keep me from getting the King of Tone because I want it. I'm on that waiting list for a reason. But I asked someone, hey, will you make some clones for me? Okay. And it's tough because, you know, the guys want to have their own vibe check, man. You know, they companies want to, like, hey, this is my idea, my original thing. Let's go after this. And Igor has some incredible stuff. He has the divination pedal, which is an impeccable fuzz. He has a germanium fuzz, a couple that are pretty insane. You got to check out Stonegate Effects, is what I'm saying. But so over the years, me working with him, I'm like, well, hey, you know, I'd like you to do me a couple of things here. So an upgraded badass version of a blues driver. And he made the Indigo chauffeur for me. Blatant ripoff, we know. We're not selling this. He made this just for me. All right, he went through the circuit and just gave me what I wanted. And it's great, right? Doesn't keep me from buying a blues driver. I've had many. He made me, this is called the 9 Street. This is, well, this is the baddest version of a TS9 that you could ever have. So here's my problem. I'm not an TS9 guy. I'm not a 2-screamer dude. It's the mid hump, right? But he fixed that for me. So this actually would probably be more akin to a Plumes. Okay, but again, it's not something that he sells. It's something he did specifically for me. And then when I realized how good they go together, those two pedals, when you run one into the other or vice versa, he went and he made this for me, which is both of those pedals with the mods that I asked for, now in a double pedal. So what you have now is the topography of a couple of known circuits, but is it a clone anymore? I mean, he did many extra things to this that I would say make it a different pedal. He's not using all the same components, you know, he's using what he can get. So would that be a clone? Now, I know without this is a clone. This is a high quality, it's called the Sono Rex, high quality clone. But again, he made it just for me. You know what I mean? He's not out there. This is, I think, kind of new for him. He does his own thing. I'm the one that's like, hey, can you take some of these circuits and hook a brother up, right? We got the King of Blues. I picked this up when I was going to be doing some stuff on double pedals. And I think I heard a rumor that the Tone City King of Blues is a clone of some sort. I mean, I think most pedals are nowadays. But I don't remember what. So if you remember what, or if you know, put it in the comments for me. All right. Now, something that he does offer at Stonegate. Now this, it's a reimagining more than it's a clone. It says the Mel Drive, but that's just, he just did that for me. This is actually basically a Dallas Arbiter Rangemaster. Now it's a treble booster, except he's got your full, medium, and treble choices. Makes it awesome, right? He also came up with this here. This is the overdrive preamp. I would say the closest that I would think this would be akin to something like the DOD 250 or something like that, you know, in and around there. All right, so my point through all this is I've had him make me a lot of clone pedals. Pedals that I have, and you guys have seen my videos. I have a blues driver. I have a couple of tube screamers. I don't care for them, but I have them. You know, I have the DOD 250. That's why I say it's kind of like that, but it's its own thing, you know. So you hear all this stuff, and everybody loses their mind. Oh man, you're tapping into somebody's bank when you're doing that. Now here, this is true. I believe this is true. And like I said, the only reason I even agreed, the only reason I was like, you know what, I want to do a video on it, that I never did because I felt some kind of way, but I was going to do a video on it because it was going to be akin to, this is me waiting for my King of Tone and I can't take it. What do I do? And maybe one day I'll put this against the higher quality boutique cologne that I have, okay? And Mike, if you're out there and you're watching, I'm still buying it. And I might buy a Prince too, okay? But this, I understand the beef with this, 100%. It's trademark infringement. It's copyright infringement. You know, you can't copyright, trademark a circuit, but, you know, marketing materials all day. This year, for me, right? Because I wanted a tube screamer that I could like. And I tried them all, man. I tried them all, and they're just not for me. Everybody swears by them. I think part of the reason is that I play humbuckers. I know there's a lot of cats out there that have used them to success with humbuckers. I am not one of those guys. I just can't find the tone that I like. Oh, I'm off screen. Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Oh God, I'm just trying to reach something here. Now, if I'm being all the honest, okay, this is probably my favorite clone of all. I mean, of all. Look at that thing. First of all, it's beautiful, okay? And it's just a simple clone. Double stack, you know. He's like, hey, we don't need to do these big old enclosures and stuff like that, because that was one of my beefs. I was like, I got these clones because I'm never going to be able to get a real one, right? It's like the only clone that you're allowed to have, because everyone knows who's got 5Gs to go get one, 2, 3Gs. And when he made this for me, you know, double stacked in a game pot and everything, he really went to town on it. And I put this against the Archer Icon, the gold one, blew it away. And I mean blew it away. Like, the Icon sounded good, but there was so much more rich harmonicness in this. And I'm not a pedal builder. I don't know what these guys do. I know that there's transistors and capacitors and wires and with all kinds of other stuff. But I'm not the guy to be able to tell you how they get built. But I can tell you that out of every clone that I've played, and I've played many, not just the few that I have here. I mean, heck, I had one built into my Boss DD200. There was a clone in there. I think I have one in my Boss GT6. It's out of control how many versions of this pedal have been made since what? 1994. Like, Finnegan did it and the world said, oh, you know. But my point is so something like this is forgivable. They're not being made, and if they are being made, they're being made in such small amounts that, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? But what about everything else? How do you feel about it? Let loose on me. If you think it's messed up that I was too impatient, I decided I wanted a friend of mine to make me a King of Tone, let me know if you think that's messed up. Keep in mind, I really am still on that waiting list, and I'm going to get it because, I mean, it's iconic. It'll never lose its resale value, you know, so of course I want one. But unless I want to pay $800 right now in reverb, I got to wait the 4 years to pay my $250 or whatever it actually costs. I look at it like this. Most of these circuits have already been copied, right? You can, good grief, how many people have made a Rangemaster? I am almost positive that JHS just came out with a Rangemaster, and I'd like to check it out, but I don't know if I will, because this one's freaking amazing. It's the Mel Drive. Come on. You know what I mean? I have my Blues Driver. It's going to sit somewhere because it's going to be worth a couple bucks, but I can use this one and get the same quality tone out of it. You know what I mean? When I want to pair it with the TS9, boom. You know what I mean? I've asked him to copy circuits that have been Blues Breaker circuit, a Blues Driver circuit, a Tube Screamer circuit. They've been copied by every company. Everybody has a version, right? But do you think it's wrong that I asked somebody to do that for me instead of just trying to hunt down the incredibly expensive vintage pedals? I know this has been way more talky than usual, but I'm trying to expand the channel. I'm trying to move on. I want to get you guys into this with me. And on a closing note, will you guys please send me pictures of your gear? I want to see your guitars, man. I want to talk about them. I want to see your amps. I want to see your pedal boards. Just send them to the email, gearguitarswithmel@gmail.com. Show me your stuff, and I'll show it off. Unless you tell me you don't want me to. Then I'll just talk about it, and I won't show any pictures. But let's get in this together, man. I'm going to be showing you guys what I have left for gear. So you guys show me what you're rocking. I'd love to see it. And until the next time, thanks for hanging out with Gear and Guitars with Mel. By the way, this is my bedroom, and this is Westeros.